You like the idea of her, just the thought of beauty in your mind. But right away your skin, see a heart that's just pumping black blood.
Okay, Unheard Gems. Today I'm joined by an incredible artist who's now blowing up on the radio. It's Whitney Woerz. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
So sort of just as a first off and an introduction to you, when did you realize you wanted to pursue music, and when did you, I guess, start music as a career?
Yeah, so I grew up doing musical theater. Actually, when I was in elementary school, I did all these shows in community theaters in this town in Connecticut that I grew up in. And, you know, after my first show, it was so late at night, and I was like, wow, I have so much energy. And I just knew at such a young age that performing was what I wanted to do with my life. And that kind of led into me writing my own songs. And then got lucky with the producer, and just it kind of went from there. So I'm just beyond happy that it all worked out.
And then, so how did it feel when you first released your EP Behind the Smile back in 2016? And where did the inspiration for that EP come from?
Yeah, so that is that's 5 songs of I think I wrote the songs when I was 12 and 13. Actually, I'm 17 now, and that was just super intro, me just writing these random thoughts that I had, and I was that's good, actually I'm gonna put this to music, right? And so once it actually got produced, and a producer actually was interested in my work, and the feeling of actually putting out work that I've worked so hard on, because it took a really long time to actually get everything done and out there, but once it released, it was just such a surreal feeling. And yeah. And one of the songs on that EP was actually what inspired me to, really actually get into songwriting, which is called Ghost Story. So, 3-4 years ago, I had this friend on social media who reached out to me and told me that she was cutting herself and that she wanted to kill herself. And me as a 13-year-old, I didn't even know what the significance of that was, and I didn't even know what that meant. So I called up this organization called Bring Change to Mind. I found them, and then they helped me, and they told me to call suicide hotline for her. But I was told that I had to stay with her, but I couldn't actually do that because she lives in California and I'm from New York. So I sat down and I wrote Ghost Story, which I wrote these lyrics, and then I put it to music, and I sent her this really rough version. And that was in between the time period between help was being it was on the way, and I mean, she responded and told her that it just helped her so much, and she was just thankful that somebody listened to her, and she listened to that all the time, and it just helped her to keep going. So I thought once I could help one person, I could help so many more.
And then also on that, this is sort of changing the order of my original questions, but so you do give a lot of your profits from your music to the charity Let's Bring Change to Mind. Mm-hmm. So you obviously have that personal connection there. So why did you, beyond that, decide to really give a voice to that organization? And it's really important, obviously. So
I because Bring Change to Mind helped me through that, and I was oh my goodness, there has to be all these different organizations that because what they do is they help end the stigma around mental illness, and I'm this has to be a bigger thing, this can't not be talked about because it's such a big prominent issue, how can I be a part of this? So then I reached out to them again, and I shared my story and everything, and they actually turned out really, really liking Ghost Story, and it kind of became their theme song for certain aspects, and I became a teen ambassador. And so it's just, I'm so thankful that I'm a part of it.
And so now back to your music. I know it's kind of a weird turnaround, but your song Idea of Her blew up on the radio, and I hear it all the time. It has millions of streams. So what was it like to have that song blow up, and what message are you really trying to send with that sort of song? Yeah,
so again, it kind of goes along with an anti-bullying aspect as well. And this song, I'm still in high school, and I walk the halls and see kids they're not really themselves. Like, they're hiding behind a bunch of makeup or like different clothes, and it's just like, I've noticed that there's two sides to the person, that fake side, but also the real side that you hide, and how people sometimes just like the idea of a person opposed to like who they really are. And so I wrote that song as just kind of like a power song to inspire people to just be comfortable in their own skin, and to have that message be out there, and to have it like have so many views. Like right now it has like over 100 million views on across like all social media platforms combined, and that's also just like a surreal feeling to me, to have my music, you know, out there and actually being like really liked, because it's really, this song in particular is what's really getting me going in the music industry.
So, have you had a favorite song to work on so far, and why? It doesn't have to be like your most popular song, but anything you've been working on, anything you've done in the past that's your favorite and has stood out to you.
Yeah. You know, I kind of feel like every artist says this, but like the new stuff that I'm working on, it's most inspiring to me right now, because it's, you know, it's so fresh, and I feel like I've just grown so much, and there's so much energy behind it, and oh my goodness, I'm just so excited for like the public to hear it. So like really just everything I'm working on now.
And so with that upcoming music, is anything besides like what we already know from you sort of like taking place? Are you going to try any new styles or have anything new in mind that you want to expand on and work on? Yeah.
So I feel like with everything I release, like my style just keeps on evolving. And right now, like I've been visiting like a bunch of different programmers, and like who, you know, bring new different like technical sounds to the music, and I'm really trying to, you know, make my sound a bit to the left, like a little bit like off the mainstream like pop center, with like cool new sounds and super weird lyrics. So like yeah. So just expect like some weird awesome newness that also can be like totally jammable.
Awesome. Any dates in mind that you could give us, or like approximate time
right
frames?
Now? Yeah. Right now, dates are really up in the air, because we're just waiting to see what Idea For does, and it all depends on if that, you know, continues to be successful. So, yeah.
And then,
but soon.
And then I guess, since you are 17, one thing that I think is really striking about that is I'm 17, I'm in high school, and I have a hard time balancing everything in my life. You're becoming pretty much a pop star at the same time, so how is that process working for you with school, your social life, doing concerts, all that?
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, I miss a lot of school, but I've kind of been getting used to just like, you know, talking to my teachers, explaining what's going on. Some are so supportive, but some are like the opposite and really take it out on me. But I'm just, you know, I can't help it. But it's hard. I don't have any time to really relax, but I know that doing my music is better than that. Like, to me, like I'm just focusing on my future and stuff that's like super duper important to me, and music to me is more important than school. And I do sacrifice my social life as well for music too, but like that doesn't really matter, because I find the time miraculously to like hang out with my friends, and like that's always like a nice little treat. But I'm just doing it, you know. I just take every day one at a time.
So, sort of now as we're wrapping up, any last things you want to impart on us as words of wisdom for any teenagers watching, which is a lot of our fans, and just to anyone listening to you about your story, what would you like to say?
Yeah, like, just what I always tell people is, like, know that you're not alone in anything that you're going through, because if you just talk about it, you'll find that there are so many people who maybe have the exact same feelings or who can relate to you. So just just talk. Yeah.
And then the final question I have is one that I always ask on these Unheard Gems interviews, because I like to know, if you were to recommend one growing or like Unheard Gems style artist or musician, who would you recommend for us to check out?
Oh my goodness, I feel like all the music that I listen to is like so underground, and
that's perfect.
Oh man, this is hard. This is a hard question.
You can give a list too if you can't pick one.
Yeah, that might have to happen. So there's just so many different genres. There's just okay. So there's this I'm gonna give a few bands and a different artist. So there's this one band called Bad Sons, and I mean they're growing actually, but I like every single one of their songs, and they're so great. Just if you like alternative music, and then there's also this band that I just like found the other week actually called TV Girl, and they kind of use like these old movie clips and make them into like samples, and it's like almost a melody that they make these words into from old movies. And I've like dabbled with that actually, but never been successful, so like props to them. So, and then I'm just, my favorite artist at the moment, and has been for like the past like year, is Frank Ocean, and anything by Frank Ocean needs to be praised, and just he's incredible. So yeah, Nights by Frank Ocean, it's my favorite song, and that's that.
That's a pretty solid list.
Yeah. So some underground, but then some not. Also, like I have so many like favorite artists who are super unknown gems, like Goody Grace. Look him up. He is incredible, and I've seen him so many times, and he's gonna blow up really soon. Next song he releases, you're gonna see the name Goody Grace everywhere, and his voice is incredible. Wow. And then this other artist named Krush, and he is like kind of more of the rap style, but like it's like very chill and just like it's very good. It's very good. So check out all those artists. Yeah.
Will do. Well, thank you again so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. It means a lot to get to hear from you. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. See ya.
You like the idea of her. Rip away the skin. I don't know her, you don't know her. 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 You like the idea of her, but rip away